quiet leadership. I caught the headlines of a podcast, Emma Grede and Simon Sinek. I love Simon Sinek. He's so calm, calculated, the way he speaks. He's so engaging. And yeah, he talked about quiet leadership and what that entails. Now, I'm guilty of only hearing the headlines, but the headlines grabbed my attention. And one of the things he said was, people often think leadership means being in charge, but real leadership means taking care of the people in your charge. And I found that really interesting. And he went on to talk about how when people feel like you've got their back, they reward you with trust, loyalty, and effort. And if I relate this to my own kind of leadership in terms of Renew Education at the moment and what I'm trying to do, it's my first business on my own, and really trying to deliver my leadership from where I see and what I've done over the years as a leader, and just stay true to myself. And loyalty and trust are really big parts of that. And yeah, what people want from their, I guess, careers and their life. And people, again, Simon Sinek, to quote him, people want to feel like they matter, that their work matters, that they're trusted, that they're seen, and they're understood. And I love that, I really do. And I think back to my sort of career as a, professional career, and then my career as a semi-professional footballer, what I was like as a child, and where I am now. Like, my journey's been quite significant, I would say, from a really shy boy. I remember being good at sport, and I remember going into the head teacher's office at primary school, and the head teacher at the time, who I won't name, basically criticised me. And I remember her words were, "Thinking you're the best thing since sliced bread," which really impacted me and actually hurt me, because, like I said, I felt like I was always quite shy and retiring, but other kids felt like I wasn't. My take on that now is that it wasn't like a brash kind of person that was saying how good I was, but I was competitive and wanted to win, and would do all I could, I guess, to win a football match, even if it was on the school playground. I don't mean tackling people or anything, but just trying to lead, I suppose, get the ball, impact whatever it was, part of the game that we were in. That was the same for every sport that I played, and I think it was probably people's perception of that, rather than me being arrogant or the best thing since sliced bread. Whether that impacted on my confidence at that point, I don't know, I don't remember, but I certainly remember that moment. And yeah, I was so shy, lacked so much confidence, but when I was on a football pitch, that disappeared, I suppose, and I was able to sort of be me. I was never vocal as a kid, I don't think, on the football pitch, but yeah, I certainly was a very shy and retiring child. And as I went into secondary school, I wasn't a child that would put their hand up to answer questions. I'd be sort of cowering, hoping the teacher wouldn't ask me to answer something. I worked hard, I was studious, and I did well at school. Probably lacked natural intelligence, but worked hard to fill the void, I suppose, of that natural ability to do well in certain subjects. So probably maximised my potential, I would say, and got the very most out of my education that I could do, and the grades as well. Not incredible grades, but I did pretty well. But even then, into my college years, still very shy, and actually started to doubt my own ability, even in secondary school, sport-wise. My dad was my youth football manager, I think from up until maybe like under 12, something like that. My granddad, my Bamp, as I call him, Welsh name for granddad, he was the Bridgewater Schools manager, along with the head teacher of the school that I went to. So I felt like there was always that kind of bit of nepotism, I suppose, that maybe did I deserve to be there? Was I a fraud? Was I just kind of living off of my dad and then my BAMP? So I definitely lacked confidence in myself, even though I, on reflection again, definitely deserved to be there. And that lack of confidence translated into just a real fear of any kind of public speaking, answering questions. I remember at university, and it was certainly not a proud moment, where I was meant to do a presentation. I just went home and let the rest of my group do it, and they obviously weren't very happy with me. And it wasn't from a place of not wanting to, it was just fear of speaking in front of people, fear of what I had to say being not good enough, not being worthy, not clever enough, not good enough at football, whatever the reasons were. There was a lot of self-doubt there, and a lack of confidence, and used to kind of hide behind my best friend a little bit, Luke, who was more confident than me, and like we were best friends from a very young age, and yeah, until he sadly passed away at 30. But I definitely lived in his shadow a little bit, not because I wasn't as able as him or as clever as him, but I just was happy to take that back seat. So getting back to the kind of leadership side of things, I don't really know where that started, but I guess the ability to push myself in certain situations, not all, I gained confidence from those crumbs of success that I was experiencing. Did well at college, did well at uni, did well at football, played semi-professional, but even in that world, still had that self-doubt. And I think that the turning point for me as a leader was I was by default made captain of the football team that I was playing for at the time, my local team, Bridgewater Town. And Craig Laird brought in an older player, probably about my age now, and I think in the first league game of the season he got injured and didn't really play again, and I kind of took over captaincy in that game and just maintained it. And it was something I didn't feel natural at doing. I was made captain in one game when I was 17, 18. Again, not by default really, because the normal captain was injured. And I remember playing like really, really well in that game and scoring 2, I think, and just sort of leading by example. But that was a different manager, different time. It didn't happen after that for a while. And then when I was 20, maybe 21, was made captain, and I guess kind of flourished in that role, and I grew steadily in confidence from that point. Still was never a shouter, but definitely would lead by example. And then that kind of continued then, and I pretty much captained every side that I played for until I injured my knee at 30. So sort of 9 years of being a football captain for various teams in various divisions. And I guess I've always had, or must have always had, that natural empathy towards others, that understanding of what other people were going through. I would kind of fill the gaps of people's shortcomings in the football team. Not shortcomings, but if I'd fill in to make sure that the team succeeded. And I suppose that speaks to the point of what Simon Sinek's saying, where people feeling like their work matters. So I guess I was able to sort of take the role that I was able to bring the best out of other people, so that their ability on the pitch kind of shone through, not at the detriment of my own game, but I would say I probably didn't shine in games, but others did, because of the work that I was able to do from a defensive capacity and work rate, etc., etc. So I think I was always that leader from that perspective, and would, I guess, shine the limelight, and happy to kind of celebrate others' successes within the team. And I think that was the turning point for me with the captaincy. And then even in my teaching role before starting the business 13 years ago, I didn't want a senior role because I was captain at my football club, mostly because of the time that it would have taken, but I didn't see myself as a head of department, head of year group. I did get offered those roles but turned them down. I didn't see myself as a head teacher. Left clearly to start up the business, and then started leading people and managing people, and I think putting myself in awkward situations, doing public speaking over the years, and growing in confidence. And so my leadership style, I think, has been born out of that captaincy rather than it being a natural thing to me. I've grown into those roles. I feel like the ability to be able to talk to staff for any leader is crucial, and being able to relate to people from different walks of life, making them feel seen, making their voices feel heard, any feedback, complaints, anything that might be going wrong in personal life, in their personal lives. It's being able to have that time, that understanding, that empathy, that care. I think that does make a really powerful leader, and that tends to be where people leave professions, jobs, football clubs, not necessarily because of the job itself. Sometimes it is the leader that they don't vibe with, that they don't respond to, that they don't respect, perhaps, as one of the main reasons that people do leave job roles. And I hope that I am a reason why people stick around. For those reasons, really, creating that culture, creating the environment for people to work in and flourish. And certainly one of the challenges with Inspired Schools is not seeing staff very often, because they're in schools, different schools. You don't see people that often, and that is a challenge of ours. And probably something I can do better at, reaching out a bit more to people, showing that understanding like I used to when it was a smaller team. But I think I completely agree with Simon Sinek's view in that being able to listen, understand, not talking over, not projecting, not giving your feedback on why someone feels a certain way, making them feel seen and heard, like I said. And you don't have to dominate a room. Like I think of football leaders in the past, it was shouters and the physical kind of alpha male, that presence. That doesn't need to be the case. Leaders can take all forms, but I think a really effective leader is somebody that can get people to kind of follow along and inspire people and excite people. I love Brendan McCullum, despite the recent Ashes failure, but I just love that he stands for something and he takes people along the journey, inspires people, and tries to get the best out of everybody. And I think that's what makes a good leader. And my kind of final parting thought is just to consider those things really as a leader, and how to get the best out of your team, my team. It shouldn't be telling people what to do. Yes, there's an element of that, but it's understanding, it's leading from the front, it's inspiring others to want to be their best, reach their potential, do their best for the company, the business, live by those values that hopefully the company, not just the leaders, created. It's shared values, it's shared goals and ambitions of the company to do something, to make a difference. I think that is what makes a really effective leader.